Imagine living in a society where a farmer could be more respected than a millionaire. In ancient China, that's exactly how the social hierarchy worked. For thousands of years, Chinese society wasn't organized primarily around wealth. Instead, status was influenced by education, social contribution, family duty, and a powerful philosophy that shaped everyday life. So why would a wealthy merchant rank below a farmer? And how could a poor student rise into the ranks of government? To answer that, we need to explore the social structure that helped hold one of history's longest-lasting civilizations together. While the details change from dynasty to dynasty, the basic social hierarchy remained influential throughout much of Chinese history. Before we look at the different social classes, it's important to understand the ideas behind them. The entire system was heavily influenced by Confucianism, a philosophy based on the teachings of Confucius, who lived more than 2,500 years ago. Confucius believed that society worked best when everyone understood their role and fulfilled their responsibilities with honesty, respect, and discipline. In this view, social harmony was more important than individual wealth. As a result, people were often judged not just by how much money they possessed, but by how they contributed to society. At the very top stood the emperor. Chinese rulers were believed to govern under the mandate of heaven, the belief that heaven had granted them the right to rule. But this wasn't a blank check. If an emperor became corrupt, failed to protect the people, or allowed the country to fall into chaos, natural disasters, famines, and rebellions could be interpreted as signs that heaven had withdrawn its support. The emperor was expected to maintain order, prosperity, and moral leadership throughout the empire. Below the emperor were scholars and government officials. Historians often refer to the traditional social ranking beneath the emperor as the four occupations: scholars, farmers, artisans, merchants. Scholars ranked highest among these groups because education and moral leadership were highly valued. Many government officials earned their positions through the civil service examination system, a series of demanding tests based largely on Confucian teachings. In theory, even someone from a modest background could rise through education and enter government service. In practice, wealthy families often had significant advantages because they could afford tutors and years of preparation. Even so, the examination system created opportunities that were rare in many parts of the world at the time. Stories of poor students studying for years in the hope of passing these exams became a recurring theme in Chinese culture. It's also worth noting that powerful noble families, princes, and large landowners often held enormous influence. They didn't always fit neatly into the traditional hierarchy, but they remained major players in Chinese society. Next came the farmers. To modern audiences, this ranking often seems surprising. Why were farmers ranked above merchants? The answer is simple. Farmers produced food. Without agriculture, the empire could not survive. Farmers fed the population and generated taxes that helped support the government. Because of this, they were viewed as productive contributors to society and earned a level of respect that might seem unusual today. That doesn't mean life was easy. Many farmers worked long hours, faced unpredictable weather, and carried heavy tax burdens. But within the traditional social order, they occupied an important and respected position. Below the farmers were the artisans. These skilled craftspeople created tools, ceramics, furniture, textiles, and many of the products that helped Chinese civilization flourish. Chinese craftsmanship became famous across Asia and far beyond. At the bottom of the traditional hierarchy were merchants. This often surprises people because some merchants became extremely wealthy. But according to Confucian thinking, merchants earned money by trading goods rather than producing essential resources themselves. As a result, they were often viewed with suspicion and ranked lower socially despite their wealth. This created an unusual situation where a merchant might be richer than a farmer, yet still possess less social status. Not everyone fit neatly into the four occupations system. Soldiers, servants, laborers, entertainers, and enslaved people often occupied positions outside the traditional hierarchy. Women's experiences also varied depending on the time period, the region, and their social class. However, ancient Chinese society was generally patriarchal, meaning that men held most political and legal authority. Family relationships and social obligations played a major role in shaping everyday life. Ancient China's social structure was about far more than wealth. Influenced by Confucian ideals, it emphasized education, social responsibility, and the importance of maintaining harmony throughout society. At the top stood the emperor, followed by scholars, farmers, artisans, and merchants. Meanwhile, nobles, soldiers, servants, and others occupied more complex positions within the broader social order. And although the hierarchy wasn't completely rigid, education offered a path upwards that was unusual in much of the ancient world. So, if you had lived in ancient China, would you have been a scholar, a farmer, an artisan, or a merchant? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories from history.